Oh man, when I accepted doing these vlogs, I was like, oh yeah, my life's exciting. I could totally do this, but I'm starting to second guess just how exciting my life is. Now I'll just settle down, import these clips probably so that I can edit them either tonight or tomorrow, whenever my heart feels it's necessary. And I'll probably watch some Beyond Stranger Things after this. Have you guys watched Stranger Things Season 2? Have you watched Season 1? Spoiler warning, let's talk about Stranger Things. If you have not watched Stranger Things Season 2 or Season 1, stop the video here. It was nice talking to you. I hope you guys have a great day. Subscribe to HISSYFIT, and I'll see you next week in a new vlog. Let's talk Stranger Things. Okay, so off the bat, I felt like this season was already way scarier and way more like nerve-wracking than Season 1. And I love scary things. It takes a good amount to get me scared, and I think it's probably because we love these characters so much and we've grown to know them so well. I think that added to my whole fear thing, where it was like I wanted the people I loved to be safe, and R.I.P. Bob Newby. That was hands down one of the most horrible things I ever had to sit through my whole life. And when they went back for that last camera shot of him, when the demo dogs were eating him, I mean, I was already crying, but that was when I literally cried out and went, why? Like, it was so terrible. But anyway, I felt like there was an entire loss of innocence in this season, and it's definitely because of everything that our characters had been through in Season 1, and it carried over. It was spooky to watch. 11 grew her hair. She looked so fucking cute with those little curls, and I loved her and Hopper being paired together. Of course, you learn to love these things even more when you watch Beyond Stranger Things, so if you have watched the second season and you didn't watch Beyond Stranger Things, I think it's worth your while to do so, because you learn a lot more about a lot of the deliberate things that the Duffer Brothers did. You learn a lot more about the pairings that they put together and about the characters' chemistry and the actors' chemistry. But I feel like Hopper and 11 were a great pairing, and I feel like we knew that was going to happen because of Season 1, learning about Hopper's daughter and about how he has this soft spot for kids, specifically probably little girls. So I loved putting them together. I love the whole father-daughter dynamic that they have. 11, I don't want to stop calling her 11 or Elle and start calling her Jane. I don't feel like the name Jane is right for her. It just, immediately when I hear Jane, I think Jane Doe, like a nobody, like they don't know who it is. So I feel like 11 is, you know, a lot cooler than a Jane, but then again, I'm not the Duffer Brothers, and I wish I was, or at least friends with them or something. But yeah, I know that I trust their vision, I trust their character arcs, and I trust their name for 11, so whatever. If she's Jane now, she's Jane now. I did hear that they want to do a Season 3 and possibly a Season 4 of Stranger Things. Now, I don't necessarily know what they're gonna do with it. Now, everybody says, like, whenever I talk to somebody about the ending of Stranger Things 2, people are always like, well, you know, they gave you a little sneak peek into the next season because of, you know, you can still see the Mind Flayer down and the Upside Down watching over them, which, yes, I guess so, but for me, it felt like they tied the season together so beautifully, and they closed all of the storylines, and they obviously can set it up for whatever, but, because we have, like, Jane's whole life, 11's whole life, new life to look forward to and learn about and all that shit, but, yeah, I don't know, I just felt like Stranger Things 2 was tied up really beautifully, and I know that they'll probably do more with it, and I don't want Stranger Things to be over, but then again, I've learned with shows, especially after watching Breaking Bad and Mad Men, 2 shows that ended so beautifully and so cohesively, I've learned that when a show runs on for too long, Dexter's a good example, or Weeds is a good example, it just starts to feel like the writers are just like scrambling for things to do with these characters and with these storylines, that they just use up all of their great ideas, and then eventually it starts to kind of turn into like a clusterfuck of stuff happening, and I really don't want that to happen to Stranger Things. Now, like I said earlier, I trust the Duffer Brothers and I trust the Stranger Things team, so I don't think that's gonna happen, but of course, I'm a little nervous. Let's get back to characters. Dustin, my boy. I've loved him since Season 1. I loved him in Season 2. I cried a lot when he was at the school dance, just kind of looking around for someone to dance with. Him and Steve were a great team together. I love to see the character arc that they're giving Steve. Every time you think Steve might be just like a plain old dude, he always surprises you. I thought his character arc was beautiful. I think it's great to put some substance to somebody that was initially supposed to be kind of like an antagonist. Speaking of antagonists, let's talk about Billy. I have not a lot of feelings about Billy. I think that it's great that they're putting this whole human antagonist aspect to this show that is so supernatural and multi-dimensional. He's a fucking nut job, and I think that he's gonna be a lot of trouble in the oncoming season or seasons, whatever they decide to do. I can't really say much about him because, I mean, we've just really gotten a taste of who Billy is, so that's that on Billy. Maxine's a goddamn badass. At first, I felt a little territorial, letting another girl into the party that wasn't Elle, but she turned out to not disappoint. And honestly, when they were releasing the previews and stuff and like saying the new cast members and stuff of this season, I thought that she was going to end up being another psychic supernatural chick. And I'm pleasantly surprised and happy that she didn't end up being that. Now, Kali was a character that's not, you know, a main character whatsoever, but she was another supernatural chick or another psychic chick. I thought that the whole standalone episode where 11 went and found Kali, her sister, was a little, at times, a little unnecessary. But like I keep saying, I trust the Duffer Brothers and their vision and the storylines that they create for their characters. I think that everything they do is very deliberate, so I can appreciate the episode, although I kind of felt like at times I was just like, alright, I think I just felt a little pulled away from the heart of the Stranger Things universe and a little too broadened out. Mike and 11, of course, they wanted to wait till the very, very, very last minute to reunite the two of them. They're a cute little couple. I'm happy they got their Snowball kiss. I actually totally forgot about Snowball until they closed the season with it, and I thought that was such a clever move to do. Will, Zombie Boy, I feel so bad for him. I just feel like he's only important when shit is popping off. Otherwise, I love him and Mike's dynamic. Now, clearly, they had a certain type of relationship in this season because of what happened and because I just feel like they were affected a lot deeply or a lot deeper than the other characters. So they had a nice little special bond going. I enjoyed that. Another thing that I loved about this season is that they gave you more insight into each character's family. So you got to see some of Dustin's mom and him interacting. You got to see Lucas and his family, which I loved so much. I thought that his little sister Erica was so hilarious. And I loved, you know, seeing them all sit together for breakfast in the morning, giving Lucas a little bit of a love interest too. I think that's really cool. Now Dustin, we just need to hook it up for my boy. Whatever. I like the sci-fi. The romance is okay, it's a nice little side bit, but I want to stick with the sci-fi. Except for Bob and Joyce, that was a separation that did not need to happen. That, I think that I may have cried more at that part when Bob Newby died than like at the conclusion when 11 closed the gate and Hopper gave her a nice big hug and stuff. I mean, this whole season was like pretty emotional, and I get very, very, very invested in the shows that I watch, and I tend to cry a lot when I watch television shows that I really love, so maybe that's why there was so much crying happening. I know I haven't talked about Nancy and Jonathan very much. That's because I just feel like they are what they are. I think it's really great that Barb got some justice with what happened. I think Murray was a cool little person to throw in their little conspiracy party. Nancy and Jonathan, we knew it was going to happen. Now, I feel worse for Steve in that situation because he was such a class act about it, which brings us back to why we love Steve so much. But I do feel like Nancy and Jonathan didn't get a shit ton of character development in this season. Like I said, I think it's really great that they were able to work and bring justice for Barb and, you know, settle Nancy's conscience a bit more, because that scene of her and Steve in the bathroom at the Halloween party was pretty hard to watch. That got me pretty teary-eyed when she was like we didn't kill Barb and like we're in love, and Steve's like we're in love, and that was just sad. I don't think he should have left her at that party, regardless of what she was saying. but that was a sad scene. It's all good and it's all great. I am very curious to see what they're gonna do with a season 3, let alone a season 4. They said maybe a season 4, so I'm gonna, like I said a million times in this video, I'm gonna trust the Duffer Brothers' vision and what they have planned for all of these characters. This show that is just so beautifully constructed. I mean, the set designs, the camera work, the costuming, the acting, the friendships, like the genuine bonds and the real chemistry that you can see on screen is so tangible, and it's so incredible. I feel like there's a reason why this show is such a success, and it's because everything is just so well thought out and taken care of with so much love that it's portrayed beautifully on screen, and I think that's why Stranger Things will be iconic for the rest of the time that it has been born into. That felt good to talk about, like, in depth. I feel like I haven't really I feel like I haven't really talked to anybody about Stranger Things in depth like that. I guess at this point, now that I got so much energy and so much fire out of me on that Stranger Things one-sided discussion, I'm just gonna retire to my laptop for the evening, watch Beyond Stranger Things like I said, and get to editing in a little while. This has been wonderful. Okay, if this is where I'm gonna end the vlog, then I'm gonna end it now. If I film anything else, then I can just edit it and make it look like I didn't say goodbye at this point. But if this is goodbye, guys, thank you. I feel like 20 pounds lighter after talking about Stranger Things 2. So I love you. I'll see you soon. Bye.